What's good, chat? What's good, world? How y'all doing out there? It's pretty interesting. I'm here again this week to give you another quick update. We've got something to talk about. Old boy Bernie Sanders just put out a message here that, welcome to the world of oligarchy. I am once again asking you for your financial support because we are in the world of oligarchs now. And though I am old and I have refused to legislate against Hillary Clinton when she stole the election from me in 2016, and the Democratic National Convention decided that they can elect whoever they want and they do not have to care about the democratic process. So I am once again asking for your financial support because I am old and now I'm mad at oligarchs and it's going to be Elon Musk's fault and everything is now the fault of the people who have not been in government for 40 years like me. The fault is the people who have not been in government. It's not my fault, is what I want to say. So I'm once again asking for your financial support because it's not my fault. Sincerely, Bernie Sanders can go fuck himself. This guy gave up, has capitulated every single time he's ever been called to battle since he was young, okay? In the old days, Bernie Sanders was out there on the streets fighting for civil rights, getting arrested, whatever. Fine, good for him. He hasn't done anything useful in politics for 20 some odd years, except channel anti-establishment energy into the Democratic Party, who does not deserve it because they are the party of the establishment. That is what AOC is for. That's what all these people are for. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. What we're here to talk about today is the greatest televised rant of all time by the one, the only Dylan Ratigan. This was when the government shutdown came to a head in 2013. Because if you remember any of American history, this keeps happening. And every time the government shutdown comes up, what we do is we decide, hey, if it's the Republicans in control of the House and Senate, they want to burn the government to the ground. They want to start the government over, cancel all our debt, do whatever, basically an insane, reckless plan of, hey, fuck everybody, let's just start over. And the Democrats have this absolute need to kick the can down the road so that they can never be held responsible for decisions. You see, this was explained by Lewis Black many years ago in the 90s when he told us you have the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. The Republican Party is a party of bad ideas, and the Democrat Party is a party of no ideas. And the only thing worse than a Democrat or a Republican is when these two fucks work together. Because the Republican will shout, I've got a really bad idea. And the Democrat will reply, and I can make it shittier. That is the ultimate perfect example. You do not need partisan fucking color politics nonsense. You should only be voting for people whose voting records show that they represent you. Let's all vote for Tulsi Gabbard when she comes up for president in the next election cycle. That's what we wanted this year. That's what we wanted in 2016. We've all wanted to vote for Tulsi Gabbard. You, me, all of you normal Americans who actually love this country and actually want us to succeed in the world and don't like war and don't like oppression and don't like genocide, you'd all be voting for Tulsi Gabbard. You know it. Okay? If the Democrats had run Tulsi in 2016, they'd have had the first female president. If they'd run Tulsi in 2022, TOO, they would have had the first female president. So the issue isn't that they want a female president. The issue is that they want a puppet that they can control, just like Biden, who was melting, and Kamala, who is happy to be a puppet so that she has power. So, we were fighting against the oligarchy. We were fighting against the establishment. We were fighting against everyone who controls all of our thought and all of our speech and our ideas and our narrative when we unelected the Democrats, because they have gained control. In the 90s, it would have been the Republicans. In the 80s, it would have been the Republicans. So you understand, since Clinton turned the Democratic Party into what the Republicans used to be and turned them into this corrupt, corporate-owned shit pile that has abandoned all of the leftist morals in this country, liberals have gone insane, okay? Leftists used to just be the other side of the right? So you have most people are in the center, kind of centrists, conservative, relatively liberal, socially liberal, economically conservative is what most people would call themselves if you talk to anyone who considers themselves middle class in America, right? Oh, I'm very socially liberal, I'm economically conservative. They don't know what that means in many cases, but generally, the more conservative somebody is, the more they'll make a point about it, right? So what does this all have to do with the current shutdown? The problem is they're going to blame everyone but themselves and never let them do that, because Congress is the one who does this. Congress is the one who fails to make budgets that can be made. Congress is the one that fails to approve the spending programs because they write a 1,500-page stupid bill full of crap that can't get passed. And then suddenly you take out all that crap, the bill gets passed overnight. Okay? So if we were really caring and anyone was spending their time doing what they were supposed to do, representing us as Americans, you'd find populism to be the kind of the central narrative of this country, but it's not. The central narrative of this country has been controlled through the media, through, as we saw in the Twitter files, social media, which is so funny because they're like, Twitter doesn't control elections, and then they lost control of it. They're like, Twitter controls elections. What are you doing? You can't give this to Elon Musk. Anyway, we're here to listen to the greatest televised rant of all time. Now I've got you all warmed up and ready to go. Let's hear from the man himself, Dylan Ratigan. This was the end of his show. He had a very successful show at NBC, and he lost it here. And he was so sick and tired of all these people after this that he ended the show and went off and started doing his own things, okay? He works for the Tasty Trade guys now because he's very smart. But listen to this.
We owe $70 trillion.
I understand that, but you can't.
Tell me this doesn't sound familiar.
Walk out a $4 trillion solution, which is basically just a way for the Democrats to avoid dealing with this until 2017. I'm not here to talk about plans to deal with this till 2017. I'm saying we've got a real problem, and I'm tired of Republicans and Democrats who either want Republicans who want to burn the place to the ground, and Democrats, with all due respect, who want to offer a plan that gets it through their end of their second term of their presidency, and then screws me and my kids when it's over. And until we do that, we have to deal with the extraction that is at foot. It is the reason the financial markets.
Okay, listen to this. This is the most important thing you're going to hear today. I don't care where you are, what you're doing. This is the most important thing related to American politics you will hear today, possibly in your lifetime. This is the core, crux, central problem. This is the absolute cause and root of everything that is occurring. The government corruption, everything. Our Senate needing term limits is exacerbated by this. Everything is exacerbated by this. So listen very carefully.
It is the reason the financial markets are behaving the way they're behaving. That is a mathematical fact. This is not some opinion. This is a mathematical fact. Tens of trillions of dollars are being extracted from the United States of America. Democrats aren't doing it. Republicans are not doing it. An entire integrated system, financial system, trading system, taxing system that was created by both parties over a period of 2 decades is at work on our entire country right now. And we're sitting here arguing about whether we should do the $4 trillion plan that kicks the can down the road for the president for 2017 or burn the place to the ground, both of which are reckless, irresponsible, and stupid.
Okay. This has been going on, and this has been happening so dramatically. What he is talking about is he is saying that Republicans are not ruining this country alone. Democrats are not ruining this country alone. Corporations are not ruining this country alone. A system that has been enacted on America since the Democrats became corporate stooges under Clinton in 93, when they combined all the media organizations, 155 media companies, down into 3 so that they can control them and choke their access the moment they said something they didn't like. Hillary Clinton recently said, we are going to lose total control. What they meant is control of the narrative. She was going to lose total control that they had gained since the 93 when they gained control of all media, because the internet cannot be controlled the way that they control all media currently, and true information gets out. There is no gatekeeper to who can go on the internet except the ISPs, and luckily they are not allowed to gatekeep you for what you say yet. We'll see. So what has happened is a system of tax and trade imbalance has been applied in America. What this is globalists. This is the globalist agenda. This is the WEF. This is the Council on Foreign Relations. This is everything that everyone that you knew in school, when you were in high school, that was a conspiracy theorist, was crying and whining about. They were right, unfortunately. We didn't believe them. They were right. What this is people who do not require America to be rich, to be powerful. They have money. Imagine you're Apple. Okay, now Citizens United means these corporations are people, so think of them like people for a moment. Apple lives in Ireland. Apple doesn't live in America. Now, they make the greatest amount of their wealth in America doing business. Let's say 60% of their revenue comes from America. They have business in China, business in Russia, business in Japan, business in Asia, business in Europe, business in the Middle East, South America, Africa, everywhere. They cover the world, okay? Everyone loves an Apple phone. But Apple does not exist in America as an American company. So they are paying taxes in Ireland on an Irish tax structure, the double Irish, which is probably funded through another bank that's somewhere else, that's helping them basically reduce their American tax liabilities beyond zero. FedEx does this. That FedEx gets paid income tax for living in this country. AT&T gets paid by our government to do operations in this country. Now, they make plenty of revenue, but they're able to show in their taxes that they've depreciated enough assets and they've taken enough losses in taxes that they actually get money back from the federal government. So these are companies with positive revenue that are also generating revenue by the federal government sending our tax dollars to them as a reward. These companies have no need for America to be strong. In fact, what has happened now is the governments around the world are in the way of the globalists. At this point, they need to check America and shut it down, because American independence running the world as America's police force and America's kind of narrator and the world's narrator and the world's peacekeeper. And I know that we cause all the wars, and I know that we cause all the regime changes. And I know America is the problem. But understand, America has the power to be the problem. What's going to happen, what they want, is for that no country has the power to be the problem, because these are multinational corporations that cannot be reined in by the laws of a single country. And there is no government authority with the power and the agency to actually hold them accountable. So these corporations no longer need a strong America and a strong American economy to make money. What they need is to be left alone to extract money. Capitalism is the greatest system on earth, because capitalism takes about this much, about 10% of the revenue generated by capitalism to run. The other 90% is free market money that just sits there in this huge bubble that you can use to fund social programs and fund job programs and fund schools and fund creation and fund education and fund child physical education and fund sports and build stadiums and do all these things. But you lose access to that when these multinational corporations find ways to extract that excess revenue created by capitalism through their tax policies out of America. See, they take the money to Ireland or to Zimbabwe or to Luxembourg or to Cayman Islands, and that money is gone. It is no longer part of the American system. If you picture yourself in a big box with money flying all around, you're trying to catch it. Imagine every day some asshole corporations coming in and taking 10 more $1 bills out of that machine. Well, you only started with $1 million $1 bills. It seems like a lot of money, but by the time they've worked on you for 10 years, taking out $10 bills, 10 bills a day, suddenly you're in there, you got a couple $100,000 left. Then another 10 years goes by, you got $10 you're trying to capture in the same box where there used to be $1 million. Do you understand the metaphor now? Capitalism has the money to fund all the socialism that you could ever want inside of it and still provide free market opportunity. The issue is that globalists are extracting our wealth into multinational banks that have absolutely no loyalty to a single nation. In fact, they break nations to make money. And so we are now in the system where they're going to tell you that they're not the problem, okay? The banks aren't the problem, and our stupid government isn't the problem. They're going to blame rich people just for having money. But the problem isn't rich people. Rich people pay plenty in taxes. Rich corporations pay very little. Rich corporations are the problem, and they're the problem because our senators and our politicians in the House have far too much power because they do not have term limits, and so buying a senator gives you 45 years of influence. If a senator had a term limit of 6, that would be the most you could get out of them. And it would reduce the power of bribes, it would reduce the power of money, and it would reduce the power of the extraction on the American system. Let's let Dale continue.
And the fact of the matter is, until we actually, and I'm sorry to lose my temper, but I tell you what, I've been coming on TV for 3 years doing this. And the fact of the matter is that there's a refusal on both the Democratic and the Republican side of the aisle to acknowledge the mathematical problem, which is that the United States of America is being extracted. It's being extracted through banking, it's being extracted through trade, it's being extracted through taxation. And there's not a single politician that has stepped forward, Susan, to deal with this.
Oh, and you want to know what the solution is? The solution is the president himself stepping out and telling everyone this is the problem.
One right now, the leader of the free world, whether you like it or not, the president of the United States is arguably one of the most powerful individuals we have out there.
But
and
Susan,
he's
what
our
you're
president.
saying is exactly the point that Dylan is making. It's not about one guy. It's about all
No,
of
it
us.
is. It is about one guy.
I think Dylan
Only one person is powerful enough to start the solving of this problem. Dylan's going to put it in the best metaphor. I'm not going to steal it. Listen.
One guy is about one guy.
It is about one guy.
What would you like him to do?
I would like him to go to the people of the United States of America and say, people of the United States of America, your Congress is bought. Your Congress is incapable of making legislation on health care, banking, trade, or taxes, because if they do it, they will lose their political funding and they won't do it. But I'm the president of the United States, and I won't have a country that is run by a bought Congress. So I'm not going to work with a bought Congress and try to be Mr. Big Guy. I'm working with the bought Congress. I'm going to abandon the bought Congress like Teddy Roosevelt did, and I'm going to go to the people of the United States and I'm going to say, you've got a bought Congress. And until we get rid of the bought Congress, which is Jimmy Williams' constant point, which is get the money out of politics, and until a president says that's the problem and says he's going to fix it, there is no policy that I can possibly see, no matter how brilliant your idea may be, or your idea, or my idea, or her idea, or your idea at home, is that idea will not happen as long as there's the capacity to basically fire a politician who disagrees with me by taking funding away from him. Is that a fair assessment?
Money in politics is the root of all political evil. It is corruption at its worst. And until we step up and kick that out of the park, it's going to be the same system all
and only the president could do that. We're going to.
So this was the Dylan Ratigan was just had enough, and he leaves after this. It's terrific. This is one of the greatest this is the greatest televised rant. Lee Ilya's rant on when he was in the Chicago Cubs, when he was the coach. His rant about people, 90% of the people got jobs. The other 10%, they come out here. That's the greatest rant in all of history. But the greatest televised rant is this one right here, where Dylan Ratigan in 3 minutes sums up the core problem of America, the issue that needs to be fixed, and how to do it. You fund an infrastructure bank with 2% blending with the tax holiday that you used to get these companies to bring their stupid money back, or you sanction them heavily in their operations in America, okay? You start giving them tariffs, just like you're going to give the Chinese companies if they don't want to play ball and be an American company. Oh, Apple, you want to not pay American tariffs? That's fine. Base your operations in America again, homie. You can't pretend that you live in Ireland while all your HQ is here. You built a spaceship in the fucking desert in California. Yeah, you built an entire spaceship, but your operations are centralized in Ireland, right? Do you spend a lot of time in Ireland, Tim Cook? I don't think Tim Cook lives in Ireland. I don't think Apple lives in Ireland. I don't think that a lot of these companies that are headed up in Delaware, which, by the way, that's Joe Biden's state. The Delaware is the most corrupt, shitty place to run a corporation, where you can just pretend not to make money and hide all your tax revenue and get paid by the government. So, of course, Joe Biden was involved in that. Joe Biden loves corruption. He loves it. Everybody does. Everyone in our government that's been there for a long time, except like Thomas Massey, Ron Paul, who's no longer in government, Rand Paul, because he was influenced by his father, and maybe one or two other people. JD Vance seems okay. Vivek Ramaswamy seems like he knows what's going on. But honestly, it's Tulsi Gabbard. Like, Tulsi is the one. She's the greatest person in the government that we can trust, that will tell us what she's going to do, will then accomplish what she's going to do. And if they gave us Gabbard Massey, if we had Tulsi Gabbard and Thomas Massey, that is the dream ticket. That's like if we could have elected Ron Paul in 2008. You understand? That is the chance. Like, I'm cheering that Trump saves a lot of America with the changes they're going to make, because there's going to be some dramatic policy shifts this time. And I'm hoping they're for the best. We won't know right away. Obviously, the stock market's probably going to crash during this administration. I don't think it's going to be their fault. I think this has been coming. The market's been so overbought for months now that it's actually insane. We are in bubble territory in a lot of these stocks. Crypto just gave up a whole lot of what it just gathered. And that was the Gensler rally is gone in crypto. So we're back under 100K in Bitcoin. And it's not going to generate a lot of good news articles. So what they're going to be talking about is they're going to be telling you that rich people control your government, which is so funny because they're right, but not in the way that they're saying it. They're so close to revealing the truth that it's going to be very delicate because rich people control our government through the corporations they own and the influence those corporations are able to purchase by bribing senators. And how do you bribe a senator? Oh, well, you give them speaking fees to come and talk to your company about whatever stupid crap that they've been doing. Or people like Nancy Pelosi, they know what's going to happen in the stock market. They figure, hey, the stock market should go up for the next 6 years because Donald Trump said that was going to happen because when he was in office, the Congress injected $7 trillion into the market. So obviously just buy the stock market because the value of the dollar is going to go down by $7 trillion, right? So the stock market actually didn't move. If you imagine that the stock market and the dollar are floating, right? And you drop the level of the dollar, the stock market goes up. See how that immediately, I drop the level of the dollar, stock market looks a lot higher. That's it. That's actually how inflation is viewed. So when the price of the dollar goes down, the price of stocks increase just naturally because you can buy less of them per dollar. It's a natural phenomenon that's arbitraged by, at this point, algorithms and traders in the market. So it's not something that you could really avoid. Anyway, that was the greatest rant of all time, but I don't know. Listen, I thought this was important to bring you. I thought this was important that you guys heard the greatest rant because they're going to hear a lot of crap. So you needed to hear the truth. All right. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year. For the moment, I'm going to step out, stretch my back.
Sunday. She tells him she's in church, but she doesn't go. Still, she's on a